Shot a video with Aaron last night titled, "It's the Bankers or Us." And it's an article explaining that they will give us no quarter. They will rape and rob everything, the big six mega banks. Lord Monckton agreed, member of the House of Lords. Ron Paul agrees. I mean, this is our enemy. This is the global government. Well, you did it. You made it the #1 Google search term, bankers or us. And I'd say about half the links when you click on it are to sites that mirrored our article and our video. But I would suggest all other websites out there, this will be the top search term for much of the day, take our article or write your own article about "It's the Bankers or Us," so your site gets the massive traffic in exposing the globalist. Google may have blocked me from Google News as punishment for the Google bombs and the TSA. I don't care. There's more than one way to skin a cat. So when you hear us do a search term, you better take our articles and put it on your own site or news site. Bankers or us, #1 volcanic search. We have the #1, #2, and #3 yesterday. Great job, listeners. So there you have it, Max Keiser. They are certainly getting upset about what we're doing.
Right. Well, it's an information war, and they have their algorithms, and you have your listeners, and it's a war.
Well, I salute our frontline soldiers out there. I want to...
I'm looking at my site right now, maxkeiser.com, Keiser. There's a great photo that somebody sent me. It's a Photoshop version of a very famous Times Square photo. Back in the 60s, John Lennon and Yoko Ono took out big billboards in Times Square that said, "War is over if you want it." And somebody sent me a Photoshop version of this that says, $500 silver if you want it. And that's really gets to the message here. If people around the world want $500 silver, that's exactly what they'll get, because all they have to do is go out and buy a couple of ounces of silver, and they'll get $500 silver. This is a mass global movement to stop the terrorists, just like back in the 60s. You had a mass movement that stopped the Vietnam War. This is a mass movement to stop these financial banking terrorists.
Max, I agree.
$500 silver.
I want to get to some calls before we've got to end this overdrive transmission. But in your estimations and the estimations that have been done by major economists that you mentioned last hour, how much silver, physical silver, has got to be purchased to guaranteed annihilate the bankers?
Well, the supply is about 100 million ounces a year. It's not really, and the industrial use is something like 700 million ounces a year. So there's already huge silver shortages right now, plus the hedge funds are our partner in this, and they're buying silver in billion-dollar quantities. So the hedge funds are going to make this happen anyway. So I'm telling you, the person who can only buy 1 or 2 coins, get in now, because the hedge funds who are buying 1 billion at a clip are making this happen right now. So the shortages are right now.
And you made the point 3 weeks ago here on the show that as we drive this up, the greedy globalists, they're all going to join in and destroy themselves. They can't help it.
They're opportunists, but that works in our favor, because then we've got leverage against them. They'll sell out their J.P. Morgan buddies at the drop of a hat. They're not going to sit in a bunker and get destroyed with the balance sheet of J.P. Morgan and their banking buddies. They're going to change. They're going to be joining our forces. We're going to convert them. We're converting them every day.
It's by deploying the Renaissance, by leading, like our guest said yesterday, shooting our grappling hook over the parapet and hauling ourselves up above the globalist, leading by example. That's Max Keiser.
It's like Pac-Man. Pac-Man, when you gobble up one of the little things in the Pac-Man, he becomes part of your forces. So every time it goes higher, more of the globalists switch sides, because they don't want to get in front of this freight train and get killed. They're like, silver's going to 500, I'm getting into silver.
All right,
they're converting, and they're joining the forces.
All right, let's take phone calls here. We've got to hurry. Chris in Nevada, you're on the air with Max Keiser. Go ahead.
All right, how you doing, Alex?
Good. Go ahead.
Good. I got a question. You guys are saying if you take 20% of J.P. Chase's Morgan, or these 6 big banks, take their money out and bank locally or buy silver, the big bank crashes, right?
Yes.
Okay. What happens to the other 80% of people and their money that are, haven't taken it out or bought any silver?
Well, the bankers are already debasing the dollar. They're already debasing. They're already in a predatory takeover. So if they're going to take us down, we're going to take them down.
And I got another point. As far as like buying silver, that I find that a great idea for everybody to start doing. But for people like myself who generally live like day to day, as far as like the money we receive, through paycheck to paycheck, like if I buy silver myself, I can't necessarily like buy my nightly meals or pay my water bill with silver. So like, all right,
Chris, I get this all the time, and I appreciate your call. Let me briefly answer it. Get a 30-second answer from Max because I got to go, to the other callers here. If you okay, Max, let me answer because this is important. Okay, this is elementary. 14 years ago, when I was promoting silver, it was like $5 an ounce. Now it's $29. So if you're a poor person, but you bought it when it was $5, now today you could sell that silver and pay your electric bill. If you keep the dollars, they're being devalued while the silver is going up. So it is the poor man's gold. And so it doesn't mean you've got to buy a bunch of silver. I mean, we're just here discussing, look, why did I believe in gold and silver when gold was $260 an ounce or $265 an ounce and silver was $5 an ounce? Because I'd studied history and I knew what debasing currencies did. It makes other key commodities, especially metals, go up. So it's elementary. People say, well, how do I pay a bill in silver? You go cash it in for the fiat money at the time you need it, but your money isn't devalued. Max, can you explain it to them?
Anybody has $28 to buy a coin. Even homeless people, have $28 to buy a coin. And remember Gandhi in his march to the sea. As he got closer to the sea, the people following him turned into the millions. And what did he do when he got to the sea? He simply reached in and pulled a handful of salt. That's all he did, and that's all it took to annihilate the British Empire.
Because there was a tax, the British had a monopoly on salt, and his joke was it's everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Now, fiat currencies is the new imperial way to keep us locked up in prison. And by buying one little silver coin, or even a half a silver coin, or a quarter of a silver coin, or a little silver trinket, you are now part of the movement. You are part of the revolution. You've got that silver bullet aimed at the heart of J.P. Morgan. You are now part of the global insurrection against banking occupation. You could do it for $10. And nobody in your listening audience right now, it can't.
No, I hear you. Let's go to Ed. Let's go to Ed in Hawaii. Ed, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hi, Alex.
Hey, buddy.
Alex?
Yeah.
Alex, yes. First-time caller. I've been investing in silver for probably 8 years, reading on the subject for many years. One of the things I'd say to the last caller is, and I've had this idea before about the silver, too, taking down these power mongers. Go start buying 190% silver dime or 190% silver quarter. Those are like $2 to $5. And it's nothing. There's nothing like starting to buy a real silver. It's a great thing to do. On the Hunt brothers, one of the things I read about him is that he was a true believer the dollar was going to crash. I think to a certain extent he saw himself as a battling the Federal Reserve, just like.
No, that's what the Hunts. That's what the Hunts said. We're almost out of time. Do you have a question for our guest?
Well, I just say, actually, just take J.P. Morgan down. I totally agree. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. Julio in Illinois, go ahead.
Gentlemen, good afternoon. Max, I appreciate what you're doing. 2 quick questions. First off, how important do you feel, you just mentioned earlier about, it's a constitution-based currency, gold and silver, like our founding fathers state. How important is it to tell people who are on our wake about Executive Order 11110 from 63? Coincidentally enough, 5 months later, Kennedy was
That's right.
murdered.
Kennedy didn't just start getting us out of Vietnam or have the real civil rights movement. He started the movement to abolish the Federal Reserve and have the U.S. government issue its own currency, not the private Federal Reserve. They blew his head off. Comments on that, Max Keiser?
Well, I mean, yeah, that's a good part of the history of it. That executive order was going to abolish the Fed, and the rest is history. So, yeah, that's how powerful this is. But you see, it's not about one man with one executive order. It's about 100 million people around the world, each buying one silver ounce.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you this, Max. You got a lot of nerve because being at the head of pushing this. Let me tell you, if you are successful, this mafia, I'd imagine, is going to send a hit team over to your house, and I'm serious.
No, well, I can as I said before, I'm converting people en masse. And for every person that's upset at this, there are 10 people that are kissing my cheek and thanking me. So I am putting the proverbial flowers into the muzzle of the gun on the front line, and I'm turning the criminals into silver-loving, free market, real constitutionalists. That's one of the.
No, I understand, Max. You're a true revolutionary. We're all here together, hurtling into the future. This is very exciting. Thank you so much, Julio. Tim in Michigan, you're on the air worldwide.
Alex.
Hey.
Hey, how you doing, Alex?
Good.
This is your search term, Tim, from Michigan. If you remember...
The guy that called 6-8 months ago or however long ago it was with the idea for search terms, yes.
Yes, sir, that's me. Listen, Alex, I'm on disability, and I have 13 ounces of silver. I have a $5 silver certificate that I purchased in remembrance of Mr. Kennedy, and I also have 3 British sovereigns, and I'm on disability getting roughly $1,000 a month. So if these people try to say that they can't afford to do this, it's because they have their priorities in the wrong place, and this is very possible because I also have a dollar certificate, silver certificate. I understand they're not retainable anymore. However, these were done in more of remembrance for JFK, and my condolences for him. And I do 1963 $5 silver certificate, which was purchased just for that reason.
Yes.
I also have a Lone Star nickel, which is a 2-ounce silver round, and I have another 11 different rounds that I had purchased.
Beautiful. Do you have a question for Max Keiser?
Yes, I do. My question to Max is also I want to tell you that I'm very inspired by his initiative to set this off. And my question is this, that Max, that if somebody like me on such a limited income can afford to have 3/4 of an ounce of gold and 13 ounces of silver, why won't other people...
All right, I understand your question. We're almost out of time. It's because they don't believe they can win, or they don't understand that silver and gold isn't going up. The currency is being devalued. Max, your comment on that?
My comment is that I agree with you. People don't think that they can win anymore. They've been beaten down. But the beautiful thing about this campaign is that once people put a silver coin in their hand, a little bell goes off on their head and they go, and they realize, my God, this is money. This is what the economy should have been based on. This is what it says in the Constitution.
This isn't some dirty piece of paper. This is real. This is heavy. Boy, they like silver in their hand. They ought to try gold.
It's psychological alchemy. You turn your defeatism into an attitude of winning because you realize, my God, I'm part of a movement that's going to transform this fiat money fractional reserve.
Let's jam in some more, Max.
An honest economy that's democratic.
Let's talk to Nancy in California, probably the last caller for Max Keiser here. Nancy, you're on the air with Max Keiser. Go ahead.
Hi, Alex and Max. I have a question. If J.P. Morgan goes down, would that trigger a bailout, another bailout? And if so, what would be the bottom line and ramifications?
Well, that would devalue currency more and gold and silver would go up even more. Max Keiser.
That's right. They're being bailed out anyway. The bailouts are continuing.
Yeah, these aren't even bailouts. These are them taking over countries and robbing everything. They're not going to stop. They hate us.
Yeah, the value of paper money is continuing to collapse. So another benefit is that you're going to have actual money in your pocket, and the purchasing power will continue to go up. It's a win-win-win situation.
But, Nancy, let me explain this. I'm sure some bad things could happen, too, but if a big bully starts punching me, I'm going to attack back. Doesn't mean I might not get my teeth knocked out, but I'm going to attack. And so the message to the globalist is, we're done laying here and taking it. You started a fight. You want one. Now you're going to get it. Max, do you agree with that?
Yeah, you can't appease terrorists. And simply by saying, well, if it collapses, then they might come after me and abuse me some more, that's not a good enough answer. At some point, we got to stand up and say, we want real money, we want a democracy, we want to get rid of financial terrorists. J.P. Morgan is the worst of the lot. Let's take it down and see where we go from there.
Nancy, I appreciate your call. All I know is resistance is victory, and a fight's always messy, and that's the end of it. You got to decide what side you're on. Are you for fiat currency that empowers the globalist, or are you with George Washington and gold and silver?